Some major recruiting news out of college football where five-star QB Dante Moore has flipped from Oregon to UCLA. He's ranked number 3 overall in the class of 2023 and is also the third-ranked quarterback, according to our partners over at 24/7 Sports. Moore had been committed to Dan Lanning and the Ducks since early July, and he's now the top-ranked member of UCLA's 2023 class. And Dante Moore taking to his Twitter account just about an hour ago or so with this image. You see he's got the shades on, looking at the Rose Bowl, the Hollywood sign in the background there. Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's excited to get things going over at UCLA. And let's welcome in Steve Wiltfong and Andrew Ivins from 24/7 Sports to talk about all of this madness. I know you guys must have been so busy. Let's start off with Dante Moore flipping from UCLA to Oregon. I know we've been talking about this for weeks. There was a lot of buzz that he might do that. Gentlemen, how much do you think Bo Nix coming back to Oregon played a factor in this decision? And what does this mean for UCLA? Andrew, I know we talked about this. We'll start with you.
I don't really know if Bo Nix had much of an impact. You know, when Kenny Dillingham, the offensive coordinator, or I should say then offensive coordinator at Oregon, got linked to that Arizona State job, we wondered if Dante Moore would start looking around, and the school we all kind of circled was Michigan State. Well, UCLA got involved and wedged their way in there. Chip Kelly, who has a great track record with quarterbacks, he was able to connect with Dante Moore. And I think this is more has to do with UCLA moving to the Big Ten, right? They're going to transition to that conference. They're going to be in this kind of mega conference. And Dante Moore, now he has an opportunity to go to Los Angeles, where we've seen what Caleb Williams has done at USC. So I think it's just kind of a combination of different things. I don't think it has to do with Bo Nix. I think Dante Moore is intrigued by the idea, obviously, of playing for the Bruins, and he thinks that he could probably come in and play relatively early as in his career. Again, he's the highest-ranked quarterback in school history should he sign with him on Wednesday, which we anticipate.
Dante was obviously close with former Oregon offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham, who took the head coaching job at Arizona State. And I think at that point in time, he was still fairly solid with Oregon. He just wanted to get a chance to see what Dan Lanning was going to do with that offensive coordinator position and meet that guy and see if he meshed and clicked with who happened to be Will Stein at the same time. That certainly opened the door for other programs to make a pitch and come in. UCLA is the only one that he took serious, took an official visit out there 2 weekends ago, had a fantastic time. UCLA has a top 5 offense. They have a balanced attack, and they have an opportunity for him to come in and compete for the starting job on day one. I think the time he spent with Chip Kelly and company out in Westwood was a big needle mover. The door was open with Oregon having the staff change at offensive coordinator. And down the stretch, I think it just came down to the fact that he felt much more comfortable with UCLA than Oregon as everything played out.
I want to talk about Travis Hunter. He's officially transferring from Jackson State, former number 1 overall recruit in the class of 2022, flipped from FSU to Jackson State to join Coach Prime. There's obviously been some buzz on whether or not he's going to follow Deion to Colorado. Our colleague Chris Hummer, he thinks UGA, FSU, Miami, USC, those are some other possible landing spots for him. What do you guys think is the right fit for Travis Hunter? We'll start with you, Steve.
Well, he can fit in anywhere, right? This is the best prospect to come out of the state of Georgia since Champ Bailey. He's a 5-star receiver. He's a 5-star cornerback. He's a 5-star return guy. He's just an elite prospect that was our number 1 player in the country for a reason. So any of these schools right now would be lucky to have him. Obviously, Deion Sanders would love to bring him out to Colorado and help rebuild a football program that won just 1 game last year. But certainly here's an opportunity for him to go through the process again and see if there might be a better situation for him. And talking to people, some of our colleagues, Chris Hummer, Carl Reed, it sounds like Georgia's certainly a program that's in the mix, and we'll see if some others emerge here with Travis Hunter going into the portal.
I'm going to agree with Georgia right there. Let's go back to Travis Hunter's recruitment. He was a longtime Florida State commit. And down the stretch, the school that we thought might try to flip him was Georgia. Kirby Smart flew a helicopter to his high school game. And Steve, I remember sitting on the signing day show with you when Travis Hunter was looking around. We initially thought maybe it was Georgia that was going to make a move. No, it was Coach Prime and Jackson State. I'll also say this about Travis Hunter. He's originally from West Palm Beach, and I think Miami might be an appealing option to him in some ways. Miami has their buttons and ducks in order when it comes to the NIL and Travis Hunter. You would think that's going to play a factor. It has in so many of these different recruitments, whether that be high school kids or in the transfer portal, so like Miami. But ultimately, I went to one of Travis Hunter's games this season. I covered him in high school. This guy is someone who wants to play on Sunday. So the biggest thing for him is going to be getting developed and coached up by the best. That's why he has followed Coach Prime around. So I look at Georgia. They're going to lose Keely Ringo in the draft. I think he could be a plug-and-play option there. He knows he's going to have the best facilities in Athens. He knows he's going to get the best coaching, the best nutrition, and all that stuff. So Georgia's the one I've circled for a while. I think Colorado makes a ton of sense as well. But that video he put out last night, it didn't seem like he was completely sold yet on going to Colorado. So I think that's going to allow some other people to get involved and, like Steve said, go through the process again.
Caden Proctor, he's committed to Iowa, taking an unofficial visit to Bama, Oregon, also making a push for him as well. Andrew, we talked about this, about maybe not the best idea to bet against Nick Saban. So do you think that Bama gets him to flip?
Well, Steve put it in his crystal ball, and if Steve does, normally that's going to happen. So I do think Alabama's probably in the driver's seat. I know Steve's going to have some more on this, but I just want to point out Alabama, for as mighty as they have been under Nick Saban, they're going to enter next season needing to replace 3 starters on the offensive line. So they need some help. And Caden Proctor, he's our #1 ranked offensive tackle. He's a guy that we think could probably play as a freshman. And if he were to do that, there's only been 3 other freshman linemen under Nick Saban that have secured starting roles: Cam Robinson, Jonah Williams, and Evan Neal. All 3 of those guys are playing in the NFL right now. So we think that much of Caden Proctor. I think the early playing time, the fact that Saban has sunk his teeth into him is standing out. But regardless, it's just going to be a big get for Alabama and the Crimson Tide because, again, they're so young up front. They've lost so much in the transfer portal. They need an influx of talent, and Caden Proctor is one of the best out there.
Yeah, talking to several sources following the visit, we definitely don't expect him to sign with Iowa, a place that he's been long time committed to. Oregon hanging around in the picture. Took an official visit to Oregon this fall after an unofficial in the summer. Has a really good relationship with Adrian Clem, the Ducks offensive line coach. But I think when you add up all the information right now, he's coming off a great trip to Alabama where him and his mother and his stepfather really enjoyed the experience. Not only does he see the trajectory of the program year in and year out, not the trajectory, but just the overall success year in and year out of player development and competing for championships. And then his relationship with the players on the team. He's really connected with those guys. So far, you could see it with some of the images and videos that were posted from the trip. Then he's also built a rapport with a lot of guys in Alabama's recruiting class. So I think he feels very comfortable with the guys in Alabama's locker room, loves the way that they develop their players, loves the stage that they play on. And I think everything is pointing towards Alabama being the leader right now, with places like Oregon and maybe Colorado trying to make up some ground.
All right, that is Andrew Ivins and Steve Wilfong from our partners over at 24/7 Sports joining us here on CBS Sports HQ ahead of all the madness that is signing day. And we got you covered for all things signing day. That is on Wednesday, December 21st. 24/7 Sports kicks things off on CBS Sports HQ. That coverage starts at 9 a.m.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.